So we've been sent a group of questions by loads of our traders, but one specific trader has sent us 10 questions that we're looking to answer in this video. So I'm going to ask James the questions. We're going to have discussions about this, and hopefully it'll be an interesting video for you guys at home. So James, let's kick off straight away. And the first question is, what do you think the most important thing about trading is?
For me, the most important thing about trading is my lifestyle around trading.
Okay, so
definitely.
So explain that a little bit. So prior to that, you were obviously working full-time job.
They say it's 9 to 5. It's never 9 to 5. Is it? It's always you always work a little bit longer or a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But finding trading, okay, you've got to do a lot of work to get into trading. You've got to do a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But it gives you. You were with me this morning. I worked for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We've come out. We're doing this afternoon. We can do whatever we want for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You do an hour and a half in the afternoons.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so how long would you say it kind of took you to get to that level where you just felt proficient, where you're comfortable with the hour and a half's work, and maybe even trading the 2 sessions?
I'd say a couple of years.
Okay.
I'd say it was profitable probably after 8 to 10 months of sticking to my rules. But just to sit at the computer, do the hour and a half, and be able to get up and walk off.
Yeah.
That takes some skill. That's a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually even had traders at the moment that will trade the hour and a half, do really well, and continue to
and just give it all back, right?
Yeah,
yeah. That takes some discipline.
Okay, so the knowing when to walk off is
knowing when to walk away takes massive discipline. Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I think for me, the most important part, I would agree with you in terms of the lifestyle, but I think what it kind of taught us about ourselves as well.
You'll learn more about yourself doing this job than anything else in the world.
I think everybody, like, I'll give you one example. I'm not going to mention any names, but we had an older lady, if we can say that. She was going to church and she was like, I really didn't think I was a greedy person. So yeah, I know I saw your brain ticking, but don't mention any names.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I didn't think I had an ego. And she said, I didn't think I was greedy. But when I started trading, it changed her completely.
Massively.
So I said to her at the time, I was like, whatever your personal flaws or whatever, this will bring them right in front of your face to the markets, and you have to deal with that.
It shows people are greedy as well, though, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go to the markets and you can make some money, why don't you stay there and make a bit more, and then a bit more and a bit more?
Yeah.
But you've got to realize why you do this in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say, because we have a few traders, probably about 6 of us, that do the charitable side of the stuff as well, right?
Yep.
So we've got. I think it's also pushing hard for other people.
It can be, yes.
Yeah, so it's not only like a greed thing. So saying that somebody's selfish. I don't think that's fair. I think it's like the overall goal or the overall objective. People try and get there as quick as possible. So
of course they do.
Impatience. Yeah.
But with impatience, you make mistakes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So the most important thing about trading, I would say that it's the learning about yourself, what it did. Yours is obviously lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think both of those even go hand in hand a little bit, because everybody wants the lifestyle.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. So pushing to get that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Impatience, greed, fear, all of these things. I don't think we would have really discovered that. Before you started trading then, what would you say your character was like?
I was a high D personality.
So then how has it changed?
I've become more level.
Yeah.
I take a disc profile every 6-ish months.
Yeah. And
for the last 3 or 4, it's been quite even.
Yeah.
But I was something like 90% D, 5% S, 5% C.
Okay. Yeah, so for those of you who are watching,
and now I'm standing on stage, I'm talking to traders, I'm doing whatever we've got to do.
Yeah.
So I've brought everything in line a bit.
Yeah.
But that wasn't through me doing it consciously. That was just the journey I've been through.
Oh, that's fair. So let me just explain. So for those of you who are watching the channel and are unaware of what the DISC personality is, it splits you into 4 groups, but they can be meshed. So D personality, I personality, S and C. So just go and check that out. Just type that in and you can have a look for that. And maybe we'll put in a picture in the comments. But okay, cool. Let's move on to the next question then. So how can trading adapt your lifestyle? So again, it's a lifestyle question, but it's what somebody wanted to know.
Okay, you can basically go to the markets. Most markets are open 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Stocks, okay, New York Stock Exchange, 2:30 till well, you trade till 4, but it's open till about 9 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah, it is.
You can go at any time and you can pick a strategy and you can trade.
Yeah. That made me sound very lazy, by the way.
Well, let's face it, we've got lazy with trading, right? We've made it as simple as we can.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Just to go take 2, 3, 4 trades maybe, and walk off.
Okay, so let's look at like the other people that we have in our group as well, but like specifically like me, Rick, Amy, you know, we've got kids and stuff.
Yep.
So I think the school run side of things and having that flexibility around lifestyle is very important.
This is an age comment now, isn't it? Because my kids are grown up and I don't have to do the school run anymore.
Do you help the grandkids?
I would have loved to have taken my kids to school.
Yeah.
Now I've got so much more time with the grandkids.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that time with my kids because I had a full-time job with my kids.
Yeah.
Grandkids, take them to school.
Yeah.
I can pick them up sometimes.
Yeah.
They jump in all over me at 4:30 in the afternoon if I'm home.
Yeah, and also if you have a full-time job, you can trade. Like if you follow the steps.
Of course you can.
Yeah, if you follow these steps. So let's say, you know, like Manuel, you know, we actually had somebody talk to us recently. Remember they was talking about the physiotherapist who we had recently. She was saying to me that, you know, she's got 2 kids and she has a full-time job. And I said to her, like, main swing trading sessions or the session on a Monday night. Yeah. They're working so well.
I mean, Maine's got 70% win rate right now.
Yeah.
It's not going to always stay at that, but 70% win rate on swing trades where you place a trade at 9 o'clock at night and walk off.
Yeah.
Come back a week later. Brilliant.
Yeah. The thing that I would talk about with people with lifestyle and trading like that, or day trading how we trade, is that you've got to find the one that matches your personality and your lifestyle together.
You do. And you do generally need, if you're swing trading, I find you need a slightly bigger account.
Yes.
Margin. But that's where we come in as well, right? So.
Yeah. The margin is a very important thing. Yeah. But that's good. Like I think, and then just the other sides of the lifestyle, like, you know, Felicia's never in the bloody country anymore, is she? So that's...
if I've got to sign off another holiday form for Felicia to go somewhere, I'll scream. Honestly. She's working from wherever she's going, but I think she flies back today and she's going back somewhere Wednesday or Thursday next week.
I think so. So, yeah, I think that's a very interesting point. And prior, in a previous life when we used to talk to Will, you know, like he's traveling and what he did, and there's a few others that we've had.
There's quite a few that just travel now.
Again, just the time zones and the what you're trading in your time zones, because obviously we're heading off to Dubai to try and you know, sort out some deals and stuff. That's going to be afternoon trading for you, isn't it?
They're just 4 hours ahead. I don't know how I'll cope with the heat, but find somewhere with air conditioning and just trade.
You're definitely going to look like a lobster, so that's that. All right, so next question, let's move on to this. So what do you think the most important thing about trading psychology is? We're getting deep now.
Oh,
James.
my goodness. It's Friday afternoon, Raj. Come on. It's at the end of the week.
I didn't write the questions.
What do I think the most important thing about trading psychology is?
Yeah. I think I know yours.
Go on.
So do you know when we do the sessions and you're like, okay, like this trade's lost, or don't worry about that, like move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Like that thing of leaving something behind and moving on to the next trade without you carrying any baggage. I think for you that's a very strong one.
Yeah, but you do that without thinking about it in the end. So I don't think that I do it. I just do it.
Yeah, but that's
because you become numb to it, right?
But that's the point. How did you get to that level? That's trading psychology.
I think I got good at losing.
Yeah.
For many months, probably a year, because I was profitable after about probably 8 months. Lost my job. I quit my job after about probably a year after starting to trade properly.
Okay.
I wasn't a good trader.
Yeah.
I was making some money.
Yeah.
But I was probably doing 20 trades a day.
Yeah.
Probably losing half of them. But my risk management was on point.
Okay.
So I was making money in the day because I had to, because mortgage, couple of kids, grandkids.
Yeah.
So that for me, that was a massive thing to know that I could lose a trade and go and get the money back.
Yeah.
So when you do it and you repeat it, rinse and repeat all the time.
Yeah.
Doing another 6 months of that, losing trades don't matter.
Yeah.
You tweak your strategy a little bit, you lose a few less, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. So Rick, that's interesting because Ricky's gone like we all for those of you who don't know, all the coaches coach each other as well. So we're all friends. We all coach each other, and it's interesting. So in Ricky's recent sessions, he went through that where the losing doesn't matter. So because the P&L curve going up and down, he's now overcome the P&L curve for the new trading session in the afternoon, like more than 2 or 3 times now. And I think it shows in the demeanor of when he's taking a trade. It's like, okay, well.
The other thing what I would say was hard to get over is when you leave your full-time job and go to a full-time trader, suddenly you've got money coming in, you've got a full-time job, you've got monthly income, and then going from that to literally nothing, and you've got to kill what you.
Yeah, that's absolutely massive. I think we've seen that happen countless times of people going from full-time work into trading. Yep. And also the jump up in the money. But let's go back to the question. So the question is the most important thing that you feel about psychology. So for me, watching your trades, the ability to move on is I think is the best thing. But is there anything else that you would want to add?
I think I'm able. Again, with psychology, I personally do. I don't think about things when I'm doing them.
Yeah.
So I literally home in. I put my trading cap on. Yeah. I'm trading. I'm thinking about absolutely nothing.
But you know what's silly? That's a little bit ridiculous because that is psychology.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I don't. What I'm trying to say is I don't think about it when I'm doing it. I just it's automatic.
So this is the zone. That's getting in the zone.
Getting in the zone. Yeah. But you've got it does take a lot of patience and a lot of heartache and crying and ringing people and saying, "Raj, we're done here," and it takes a lot of that.
Yeah. Shout out to Susie and Kathy. All the phone calls.
But I mean, and we know when traders are just about there, right? Because they will call us at 11:30 at night, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we want to help them as well, right?
Yeah.
So that for me is fantastic because they're so close.
Okay, so that is.
But I still haven't really answered the question.
No, but that is, I think, being able to do it potentially without knowing the practicing of that. So obviously, trading psychology or performance is my subject. So I think the continuous repetition of being consistent on the setups, that teaches you that psychologically, because with my trading journal, when I send you the pictures, which you love every single day, every trade looks the same.
Yeah.
Right. So if they win and if they lose, as long as I can say that there's nothing different in them, I'm absolutely fine with it. And that psychologically is the consistency, is the determination, is process management, and that's important. I think if you're not 100% confident on the process, that it's going to take you through the P&L curve up and down, the equity curve up and down. I think that's when sometimes psychological things kick in. So when we've got new traders and they're apprehensive and they're not sure, they're going to make more mistakes because they don't know if it's going to hit the target, or they don't know if the stop loss is going to get hit.
Exactly that. It's the
confidence.
It's the confidence. But if all you can control when you're trading is you can control where your entry is, where your stop loss is, and what you're doing about profit target. That is it.
Yeah.
Anything in between is irrelevant.
Yeah. So I thought for a trader to become profitable, especially from retail to professional, is going through consistency cycle.
Yes.
And then done. Because you do the same thing every day,
Yeah, good trading's boring, right?
Yeah.
It's, You see the setup, you take the trades, you move on.
Yeah, that's interesting because good trading is boring, but then, some people still don't find it boring, isn't it? So,
no, but there's still a buzz for some people. And that's the difference between having a job and being, an amateur and really turning yourself professional.
Yeah, and then on the risk profile that we do, we've got that sensation-seeking, prudent, deliberate, all of that.
And there's one more thing I love about us.
Yeah.
We're in the chat room every day.
Yeah.
Every trade I take in the chat room is live.
Yeah.
There's no bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone can see, rightly or wrongly, and they can see if I move my stops, so it keeps me accountable. They can see where my profit target is. Yeah. We'll have lots of questions. Why are you adding to this trade? Why are you moving your profit target? Yeah. They'll never ask me why I move my stop. My stop is my stop.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about DND. Yep. I genuinely do. The accountability of the coaches and the traders is the best thing. All right, next question then. So, oh God, this is a horrible question.
It's Friday afternoon.
No, this is a bad one. What's the quickest way to become profitable?
Have strict rules.
Mm-hmm.
Stick to those rules. Stick to your plan. Write every trade you take down and go back over them.
Yes.
At risk reward.
I have a question a sub question from this question.
Okay.
It's, have you had anyone that's gone profitable straight away? Because I have. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me
And
about
that's
that
harder.
and what happens. Yes.
That is so much harder.
That's why I asked this. That's why I asked the question.
So people, they come in and it's normally C personalities. They'll come in and they'll follow the rules straight away. And then what will happen is they think, oh, there's some money here. So they'll let the risk, or they'll move a stop.
Gremlins.
Or, fear of missing out kicks in. And suddenly it changes their trading on its head. Yeah. And then they probably go wrong every other strategy in the world, because this one's obviously stopped working. Yeah. It hasn't stopped working because the strategy stopped working. It stopped working because their mindset's not right.
Tinkering as well.
Yeah. So they'll go around the world and back again. Yeah. And they'll stick to the rules. Yeah. But it normally takes them 7 or 8 months to work it out. Yeah,
I've got a big bombshell on this, because we've got 3 traders who are still with us that were profitable straight away, but they've been with us for 3 years now.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not going to mention any names. You know who you are. What happened is that trading was easy at the beginning, and they were like, "Oh my God, like I'm going to the Lamborghini showroom.
How can it be this easy?"
Yeah. And then the market shifted, and we went from a bull market, the post-COVID bull market and everything, to that November and December interest rates started to rise and all that kind of stuff, and we had the pullback. And then some other people were making money in that market, but they weren't. And that emotional fight of seeing other people make money, their strategy, then having to adapt. And to be honest, it was still the same strategy in reverse. Yeah. But they couldn't handle the change. And a big thing in the city a while back was that all the research analysts and traders that came in, and they were all in their 20s, 24, 25, and now I sound like an old git, but they'd never seen a bear market because of QE.
No, I get it, yeah.
And then the bear market kicked in, and like nobody knew what to do, and everyone was calling the technical analysts again. So I like the question, what's the quickest way to become profitable? But I don't necessarily think it's a good thing.
No, I don't. But the other thing you've got to think of is that a lot of the time this is C personality, and they will automatically think, the more I learn, the more I'll earn. Yeah. So they skew it massively.
Massive. That's a great saying. You need a tattoo of that. Yeah. The more I learn, the more I'll earn. It's not true.
No, it's definitely not. So you met Charlie a couple of times, my granddaughter. She's been trading. I've been trading for her because she's not allowed. Yeah. But she's been. Look at her software. It's blue up, yellow down, black sideways. She knows that. She knows if there's new blue candlestick on Tesla, she takes the trade. Yeah, I take the trade for her.
I got in trouble for saying that our trading's so easy a 5-year-old could do it.
Well, she's 7. I think we put £200 or £300 in an account for her just to play with her because she wants to play with Dad. Yeah, and I think it's on about £4,500 now. Yeah, and she's 10.
Yeah, I think...
Well, that's not every day, because you don't want to do it every day, you know?
That's the thing. I think the rules are simple, but then it's all of the stuff around it. Yeah. You know, the money management, when to compound, the greed, all of that.
And a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old hasn't got the concept of money, right? Yeah. Because there's always money there.
That makes it a little bit easier.
It makes it so much easier,
yeah. It's true. It's true. Relationship with money.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on number 5 now out of 10. So why do you care or not care about the fundamentals?
I like knowing when news is coming out, because if I don't know if we got news in non-farms today. I stay away from certain markets. Yeah. If we've got CPI next Wednesday, stay away from certain markets. Yeah. But it's not going to stop me trading my setup. My setup's my setup. I'm pressing a button regardless. Yeah. On a news event, if I know the news is 1 o'clock this afternoon, 1:15 this afternoon, I probably won't trade between 1 and 1:30 or 1 and maybe 1:45. Yeah. Which is, for me, is fine. I'm not going to change the trade I'm in. If I'm in a trade, it knocks me out or it pays me. Yeah. But I probably wouldn't trade it in between those times, just because it goes choppy and everyone wants to get on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I think, when people ask the question, I have heavily delved into each one. So statistical analysis, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, breaking news, having seen that, I'm not going to say to anyone that one is better than another, because they will also perform better than others at different times, right? So like if you catch, a headline about the trade war, Trump and Xi are now best friends and, they're going out together or whatever, you're going to win a trade.
Yeah.
So we can't turn around and say to someone which one's better, which one's worse.
I get that. It's just for me, the times I trade, it's normally FX indices. I do some stocks in the afternoon.
Yeah. And then there's a whole industry made about research and analysis. Yeah. I agree
there's probably something there.
Exactly.
But it's not for me.
Yeah. But then we do have to remember that there's technical research analysis, there's fundamental research analysis, and statistical. So, I like them both. I think having just generally a fundamental backdrop of knowing where the Fed is, or knowing what the market's looking for, I personally think that's fine, because if you catch a trade that's in a trend of something then that you could potentially run it a bit longer because the market's behind you.
Yes, you can, but even if you're doing technical analysis and you can see it's going anyway,
change, is it?
It's not going to change my opinion on it.
Yeah,
I'm not just going to come out at 2 to 1. If it's running, it's running. I'm going for the next move. I'm going for a higher time frame profit target.
And then just on the subject of retail traders trying to turn pro, I think that you're not going to beat the banks, hedge funds, and all of that when it comes to how much money did they have to pay for that research.
Because when they turn pro, they're still probably using brokers.
Yes.
So it's skewed anyway.
Yeah, correct.
Direct to market has changed my trading results massively.
Good.
Because there's no spread.
No.
I mean, you go to some of these brokers and the spread in the morning, I start about 6:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Spread is massive.
I think, when we started D&D, I think a lot of, we had to educate so many people about the professional trading accounts and the retail trading accounts and why they were there. And I don't think people really realize the differences,
No.
But you are on a level playing field with institutions, and that's important.
Of course.
Not saying that you can't win with a broker. We used to win for years.
We make money for years,
but it's not an issue.
It is just easier.
It is easier.
And you can
put time frames.
Yeah, you can put your stop slightly tighter. There's no spread. You haven't got to get 27 pips on Tesla before you're in profit.
I would never trade a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart on stocks.
No. Not on a broker.
With a broker, no. I've never found a broker that we're able to.
Not with stocks.
It was never possible. So,
if you're going back test it works, right?
Yeah.
But forward testing, you've got to be so bloody quick. With a broker.
Yeah,
because they will spike you.
There are some brokers, like if you're choosing 2 or 3 different ones, that can get the fine spreads on the indices, like the DAX and the Dow and stuff like that. There are a few out there, but you have to do your due diligence.
We've got some traders trading DAX and Dow on Pepstone.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong with that. Haven't got a problem. Go and practice.
Yeah, I was trying not to mention any names.
Oh, sorry. We'll bleep that out. We'll bleep that out.
I've got a friend.
I've probably sworn a couple of times in this. We're going to have to bleep those as well.
It's fine. I've got a friend there. It's okay. He'll be happy. All right, cool. So the next one, this one doesn't have to be too long, but it's just tell me about your best trade.
I've had a couple. We caught early on gold trade.
Yeah. This year's gold trade.
Yeah. About 2 years ago, DAX hit 13,000, and I
remember this. Yeah, you guys were all talking about it. I wasn't in that.
I was.
Yeah.
Well, I trade. At the time, I was trading on, I think, 5 minutes, 5 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, and every 5 minute signal I would take religiously in my trading hours.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't bank any money, so it either won or lost.
Yeah.
So I lost a lot of trades.
Yeah.
But the ones I won, dear God, they were fantastic.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I had a few thousand pips out there.
Wow.
Yeah. So
no, I do remember that vividly. You and Felicia talking about at the time, and it was a top quality trade.
Yeah.
I was still going through the stocks. Do you remember through that particular time?
You did. I can't remember the stock, but you did a phenomenal trade on one of the stocks. But you were swing trading at the time. You didn't come to the. You hadn't come to the dark side at that time.
Yeah. So you're either talking about Carl Zeiss.
It's Zeiss Lenses. Yes.
Yeah, Carl Zeiss.
Yeah, it was. It was that trade, and you were just adding.
Yeah, that was an interesting trade because they kept getting, the mobile phone contracts and all of that kind of stuff. And
Sony Ericsson, wasn't it?
All of that stuff at the time. It was a bit of time back now, but as every wave kicked in, the retracements of the waves were so even
But trading like that for me,
Yeah.
it would bore me.
Yeah,
I'd
it
have
was
been
boring.
so bored.
I mean, it was boring, but the I did say at the time is like you don't argue with the P&L like
No, you
when
don't.
it happens. So it definitely.
But for me, with the swing trading,
Yeah.
I do a few swing trades,
Yeah.
but it ties up my profit
Yeah,
margin. It ties up my margin, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I had to day trade when I left my job, and that's how I've always traded.
Have you got a recent day trade in your mind, like let's say like last couple of weeks or something that you think that that was a good one?
We were testing something for stocks,
Yeah.
but I was actually testing the same thing in DAX.
Yeah.
I had 16 trades in that one day,
Yeah.
and we had 13 winners and 3 losers.
I remember, yeah.
It was on a Monday.
Yeah.
Can't remember. It wasn't last week. It might have been the week before. Great trading.
Yeah.
Great trading, and it was. I said to myself, right, I'm going to put a certain amount in.
Yeah.
If I lose a lot, we've lost a lot.
Why was it great though?
It was everything lined up.
Everything like that.
I was using I only trade with my wizard system.
Yeah, of course.
I had everything lined up.
Yeah.
It was ready to go. We had structure on every chart. Easy picking trades.
Yeah.
Add X amount each time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take anything till I think we talked about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, because that's why. So when I PLTR was the same week that when I took
Yes.
that trade, right? When PLTR kicked in, it came in. So hourly was blue, daily was blue, and I thought, okay, this is shot up at the open.
Yep.
I gave myself 15 minutes for the market to settle. Came
course.
back in, went across, and then I said to you, I'm not going to take the trade out until the color changes or it breaks the moving average back
Yep.
to the downside. And lo and behold, I think I had 8 candles in a row going up, and I just sat there and I thought, is this ever going to stop? Like for now. Normally, like, you know, my stats, I normally just do the 2 to 1s, but I thought like, you know, I would probably say looking back on the journal, maybe 20 to 25% of the trades do run quite smoothly like that.
Yeah.
But you've got to decide if you're willing, because there's a 50% win rate for me, if you're willing to risk the other 25%. But it is probably worth it. But
yeah, in stocks, trading stocks are slightly different, right?
So fast
so
at the
it's
open.
really fast, and you're trading at just after the open, 15 minutes after the open. That is really fast. If you used my strategy after 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, it probably worked really well then.
Yeah, I think so.
But when everyone wants to be trading stocks, when we're broadcasting,
yeah,
it's so bloody quick.
it is. Yeah, it is.
But your strategy works, and as long as I know you say 50% of the time, you're actually more than 50% profitable.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the actual
Yeah.
numbers of every signal. I mean, adding to the trades, if you count the additional trades, it is up at 60, 65, whatever percent.
Of course.
But I only talk about the trade ideas, the actual trade ideas. So,
But then if you ask me how many trades I took this morning, I took one trade.
yeah,
Probably entered 3 times.
that's the way I see it.
Exactly, yeah.
I still call that one trade. I
Yeah,
know
that's one trade. I'm just adding to a trade.
Yeah, I know other people look at that a bit differently.
I lost the bloody trade, mine, but
okay, cool. So, she said, tell me why you don't use indicators. This is a big subject, isn't
what
it?
a load of indicators. That I don't need a million different things telling me what's happened in the market.
Yeah,
Who wants that?
yeah.
It'll tell me to the point where, if you're using a MACD or you using stochastics or anything.
Yeah.
It'll tell me what has happened.
Yeah.
It won't tell me what's about to.
Yeah.
So,
I don't call the moving average really an indicator. I think it's a bit different.
Yeah, but you use the moving average in a very different way.
Yeah, it wouldn't stop me from taking the trade.
No, it
it's the
gets
stop
you to
loss.
come out
Yeah.
in time. Where I use if it closes below the low of the last candlestick,
Yeah.
you use the moving average.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have them on if I'm teaching someone about them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I won't. It doesn't bother me if it's on or not.
Yeah.
But I will not have a load of indicators skewing my idea of what's happening with price action.
Yeah.
Price action is key.
Yeah. So I agree. And I think you can read between the lines of the chart when you've been trading for as long as we have.
Yep.
How long would you say that takes someone? Do you think hours, maybe charting hours or days or months or years? What would you say? Because
It does depend how much time they spend at the screen, right? So if you've got a full-time job and you're looking at the screen for half an hour a day, it's going to take you quite a while.
Yeah.
But realistically, if you get all that out of your head and you're just looking for structure, and especially with the wizard system, because it's either a blue candle going up, a yellow going down, or grey to stay out the market. Mm-hmm. If you're looking at that system and you know structure and you can line everything up, it's quite quick.
Yeah.
but you'll overcomplicate it first. So probably 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months.
Yeah, because the wizard isn't really, it's not an indicator per se.
No, it's not.
It just, it filters the price action, right?
Filters the price action. That's it.
So I think, how
You're
many...
still doing it on a live candlestick, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How many people have asked us for that formula is just insane now.
I could have made millions of it.
No, just leave it. I mean, you're trading it, so yes.
I'm not getting rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that's a good answer in terms of why we don't use the indicators. I think I generally see like if something's going up and retracing to a fib number or is RSI, you're gonna know. Why do you need to put that indicator up?
Right. I will ask in the chat room because we got some of our traders listening into this. Yeah. I will ask some of the people, because I know some people use fibs. I will ask them where the 1272 is. Maybe if I'm going for a bigger target, I'm not gonna enter on a fib level. It doesn't bother me, but I will use it as a target every now and again.
Yeah, because it bothers me when I see like other trading commentators. Do you know when they talk for a winning trade and they say, okay, well, on the higher time frame, it's going to the 1272, so I lay it in there.
But they couldn't do it live, could they?
No, but not only that, it's like if a market's waving anyway, you would have done it anyway, right? I don't think the fib's going to make a difference in that scenario. So
no, but that's lots of people always tell you what's happened in the past.
Yes,
do it live.
Yeah, take the screenshots.
Take the screenshot.
Yeah.
And our traders, obviously, they take screenshots, put them in the chat room. Yeah. And it's great to see that you're taking people from maybe beginner trader, maybe beginner, to retail, to professional. Yeah. And we're doing that inside 18 months.
Yeah, definitely.
From beginner.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect. So you bang on too much.
I know. Far too much.
All right. Next, we've got 3 questions left now, so nice and easy. If you started again, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Stick to your rules.
Yeah.
That's it. Stick to your rules.
Yeah.
Psychology will come with a lot of heartache, but if you stick to your rules, you stop a lot of the pain.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know allowing yourself the journey? I think because you don't know what stages of the journey that you're going through at the time. And we spoke about reading Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone, and The Mental Game of Trading from Stephen Goldstein. Yeah. Every time you read it at a different stage of your journey,
it'll tell you something different.
That's what I would say to myself, is that allow yourself, because when you are making money and you push it and you think, oh yeah, I've done it now, I've found the formula, it will change.
Yeah, of course it will.
So
don't get too confident too quickly.
Correct. So I would say to myself, just look, kick back, watch yourself from a third person perspective. Just allow yourself to go through those ups and downs, trials and tribulations. Yep. Allow yourself to be sad if it goes wrong as well, because it can be demoralizing if you've made a lot of money and then all of a sudden that money's gone.
And no matter if you're with us or not, find someone to talk to.
Yes.
Become accountable to that person.
Accountability.
Yep.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah, because there were times in my trading career where I was only accountable to myself trading on my own.
Yep.
It's easier to hide things, isn't it? Like a lot of people, this is maybe a bit dark, but a lot of people don't like. There's nobody to tell.
Yeah, you won't write that trade down because you want to forget about it. You'd only write the good things down.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, I'd agree with that.
Radical honesty, basically. Yeah,
and that's why we've got our trading journal. We make everyone a screenshot every now and again.
Yeah, and not only that, having access to the accounts of the traders.
Having access to the accounts of the traders is massive because we know how they're doing, right?
Yeah, people won't like that, but it's important, and nobody judges each other. No, it's not about judgment.
Couldn't care if you're winning or losing as long as you're sticking to your rules.
Yeah, correct.
And we've given people accounts as well, right, that have lost over, it's not a challenge, but we asked them to do 20 demo trades. Mm-hmm. As long as they stick to their rules, I'll give them an account.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about that. It's about how you handle your rules.
It's how you handle it. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good answer. And then why do you think trading is so much harder for retail? What is it about that?
I think it's all designed against retail traders. So even down to the spreads with brokers, we covered it earlier on.
Yeah.
When you're sitting by yourself in front of a computer screen, you overanalyze, you overdo things, you overtrade, get pissed off and probably press the button.
Yeah.
And you chase your losses.
It's funny because even if you look at the reports they send out, the shows that they do on retail channels and stuff, it's designed to keep them churning, to keep trading.
Of course it is.
But what we end up having to do is getting people to unlearn that and be disciplined.
Unlearn that. In fact, a lot of the time, it's so much easier to take someone from knowing nothing to becoming semi-professional than it is from someone who's actually profitable with trading, but they come over to us and try and trade stocks in the afternoon, and it's slightly different, right?
Yeah.
And they can't unlearn that bit, and it takes them longer.
Yeah, that the casino mentality of retail trading, it's the discipline is very hard to fix. And then I think that trading potentially is not designed for human beings at the outset.
No, it's not.
So if you're you've got some of the smartest minds in the world, some people who spent 10 years doing this. If you think that on day one that you're going to be able to walk in there and play that game,
absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a surgeon walking into surgery and trying to cut somebody open.
Exactly that.
So
and what you've got to think of is most people have got jobs.
Yeah.
How long did you take to train to do that job? No matter if you're a doctor, nurse, brain surgeon.
Yeah.
How long did you take? Don't think you can come into trading and in 3 months be professional and be better than anyone else.
That's why I think sports people, military people, police people, like people who have jobs where they don't question the rules, but they go and follow the rules.
Exactly.
That's why they do well in trading.
They do really well.
Right. So
really well.
like RAF, people like that we've had. Yeah, it's really interesting. That's always that's always a common denominator. Okay, and the last question is why do we teach trading? What is the point of D&D? Why do we teach this? What's your answer?
Honestly, I would overtrade if I didn't switch my mindset about 9:30 in the morning to teaching mode. Mm-hmm. I'd overtrade. Yeah. Personally, I'm also held accountable by, I'm not going to call them students, they're traders.
Traders.
But I'd be called out. I would be called out if I broke my rules.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will take a little trade every now and again, but my trading hours are 7:15 in the morning till 9:30, and that is it.
Again, such a massive thing to say about trading for us, because in the community, because the results are open, the statements are open, and when we send out the quarterly reports and stuff, if I'm in there and I'm not doing what I'm telling them to do, I will look like an idiot.
You're being held accountable, right?
So this for me is pride and ego. So it's the good part of pride and ego, not the bad part. So I have a lot of pride and I have ego. I'm not going to sit there and lie. Yeah, so having to sit there, and if I'm saying those things to those guys and I'm not doing them myself, I know I'm going to look like an idiot.
Look,
so
everyone's got some ego, though, right? As long as you're using the good part of the ego, though.
Exactly. Understanding your own ego.
What you're doing as well. It's massive.
Yeah, because I think, like, as well, for eye personalities and stuff, like standing up and teaching and being sociable and stuff, it's a natural thing. I think, like, if we're intrinsic and in our houses and trading in our offices, like, I get depressed, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I've
done it. I've stayed at home for 2 weeks before because we haven't had anything lined up.
Yeah.
And my trading gets worse as well.
It does.
So I think, and then giving back, actually, is an important thing.
Yeah, I suppose so. And I'd love to say, that's why I do it, but no.
Yeah. No, because
I do it because I make sure I stick to my rules.
Yeah. Because I've spoken to Axel, Karen, you know, about these things. Like,
from the STA guys.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the guys at the Society of Technical Analysts. They taught us, right? And me specifically. And we've been given a chance, had jobs, all those jobs you get paid for, with us and the people that are in there. We have gone through those bumps, but having the soundboard that they can talk to about those issues. If you have nobody and you're a trader and there's nobody to talk to, you don't know if those issues are real issues that you should be going through.
But sometimes you want to just speak to someone, and that's not your wife or partner, and sometimes you want to say I'm doing really well. Other times you just want to scream or someone to vent at.
Yeah,
it's going to happen all through your career, right?
Yeah, but even like Sarah says to you and Nat says to me that like they don't understand what we go through.
No,
it's not.
I haven't got a clue, they? But
no,
you do need someone to talk to whilst trading.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
And someone who can trade, not someone who's necessarily learning or at a different stage than you.
Yeah.
If you're both at the same stage, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if someone's just started and you're a few years down, ahead, that's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. So that goes to the competency gap versus where you are at the moment. So like, like we always use the scenario of playing tennis against Roger Federer. There's no point.
No.
That's why the community is actually a good thing. So when we teach and there's people and we do our trader days, those trader days to find people that are at your level, you just end up making friends, really, don't you?
My favorite part about trader days now, people actually fly in to come and see us.
Yeah.
But that for me, that's great.
Yeah, it's gone, we can't argue, it's gone well and everyone's happy and the traders are performing well and stuff like that. So like we're very happy. And, I think people need to give themselves a bit of a break. Like they can see in our community when some traders are doing well, like everybody gives them their flowers because they know it's a hard journey and we understand that. And then if you're struggling and you end up doing well at some stage, they'll do the same thing back.
Yeah, it can be a bumpy ride, right?
Yeah,
we all know it. We're not sugarcoating this at all.
Yeah.
If you want to become a trader, it's for me the best job in the world.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of time, a lot of heartache to get here.
Yeah.
If you're prepared to do the work, do it. If you're not, go and work for someone.
Yeah. And we're also invested, like even like some of the traders, if we see somebody doing all the right things and following the rules and their discipline and it's not working for them, we actually sit and have a conversation on the coaches session and say, well, what can we do to help this person? What are they not getting? How is this not working? It's a puzzle for us as well. Like, so that's another reason I think why we teach, because like, if somebody has the determination, if somebody has the grit and they're doing their job,
we'll drag them through.
Yeah, they'll make it. So we just got to ease them through that process. Maybe it's the wrong style of trading. Maybe they should be swing trading.
It could be many things, couldn't it? But
lifestyle could be.
But
anything.
because we've been doing this for so long now and teaching for so long, we normally nip it in the bud and kick their asses into gear.
Yeah.
And I know that's a harsh way of saying it, but that's what we've got to do, and they'll thank us for it a month down the line.
Yeah, definitely. And then in terms of obviously the Candle Break channel, we'll try and get more videos like this done, and
we'll get I don't mind coming here.
Yeah,
every
it's
month,
easy for you.
Couple
it's
of
not
months.
Far for you, is it?
2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We'll try and get more videos done, and we'll
definitely
try and broach more subjects. So if anybody does have any questions or anything you want to know, just let us know, and we'll cover those subjects.
Yeah, email Raj at dndtrading.co.uk.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that.
But only 10 questions, okay? Because I can't put up with any more than this.
Yeah, no, they were good questions.
They were good questions. You'll have to tell me who sent them in later.
No, it stays completely anonymous. Because some were for some people and some were from others. But they're the general consensus of all the questions being the same. And then obviously on Trader Tip Thursday, we get a lot of questions and we try and cover those questions as well.
Lots of them covered in Tuesday night's Traders Academy as well.
Yeah, the Traders Academy is good. So just look out for our events. We've got loads of events coming up. The meetup days, we're going on a little bit of a tour because holiday season and stuff, so not everybody's in the same place at the same time. So we'll be going around the country a little bit to meet some of the traders. So look out for that. And if you need anything, just get in touch.
Yep. Thanks very much.